Hello and welcome to Driving Ohm, the second one we've done, and we said we were going to do one a week, and it's been 5 weeks since we did the first.
That's not bad for us.
That isn't bad. It's a good thing I waited so long to upload the first, so it doesn't look like we've screwed up.
And you've managed to find lots of things to pad out the other Tuesdays with.
Yeah. But as we said, it's better to be back in bits than not at all, I suppose.
This is the best will in the world, isn't it?
Yeah,
Sometimes it just doesn't happen.
We've got events to go to, so you have to...
We're very, very popular.
You already know the stories of why we ain't got enough time in our lives. Very busy people, you see, as everyone is. So, shall we jump straight... In fact, no, there is one thing I would like to address first.
And what's that?
Quite a few people on Twitter have said, why is it not in the usual podcasty places?
Well, is that because it costs money?
It costs money. There are a couple of free... Apparently, like Spotify can host it for free. But there are certain caveats.
It's kind of nice having it in one place. Yeah. People can comment. That was the most difficult thing, wasn't it? Having a place where people can interact. It's all right talking to a camera, but sometimes it's nice to have your input as well.
Well, yeah, because every podcast platform doesn't have a comment section. They can say, tell us about this, or tell us about that, or tell me what car you had.
It's nice looking through the comments and you're going, that's an idea for another one.
Yeah, that too. And... if I'm being selfish for a second, you can, although it won't make anything really due to the lack of views, you can monetize it on YouTube, whereas no one's going to pay specifically for this podcast on Spotify or Apple or anything.
No. So apologies to people that used to get it on Spotify or Apple or anywhere else.
But it's not going to change. And as we said earlier, or in the first one, the YouTube Music app, once the UK is part of that... rollout, will get podcasts so you don't have to leave the screen on to listen to it. Yeah, a few people have mentioned that.
I think if you get YouTube Premium, you can.
Yeah, you can turn the screen off as well.
But,
so either way, it's either this or nothing. There's no other choice. I don't
There's
know
not enough time in the world, is there?
And I'm paying a few $100 a year for the podcast hosting for something that's just a bit of fun.
I think you can't please everybody, and I think it's better to have us here and in just one place.
I get it, but.
It's inconvenient.
Yeah, as soon as the YouTube Music app updates... it's
going to be so much better.
For the UK, then you can do normal stuff.
And that should happen relatively quickly,
you would expect. It's been for 2 months nearly in America now. Why not in the... Well, I don't understand the delay. Is it surely it's just the software's there?
And just, Unless
it's a license thing?
I don't know.
Either way, should we get on with the topic at hand?
Which is?
Well, this is something that I talked about on stage, you know.
You did, you?
At Fully Charged Live in Harrogate. Not Harrogate, Harrogate.
Harrogate. The H is silent.
Yeah. It wasn't something I chose. They just asked, do you want to come and talk about this? And it was, how do we become the SUV obsession was the title. But essentially, why are people buying SUVs?
Getting bigger?
And bigger, blah, blah, blah. And I really enjoyed it, I have to say. I thought Jack was a very good host. You know, I mean, I don't know why I didn't think he wouldn't be, but he kind of surprised me in how...
He was very slick, wasn't he?
Doing a video is very different from on-stage hosting.
In front of a live audience.
And you've got a 60-minute window. No, 30-minute window.
30-minute, yeah.
That's my problem, though. 30 minutes for
Talk
5
about that
people.
by yourself.
Yeah. For 5 people to discuss a topic for 30 minutes. I mean, it has to happen live, obviously, so they can do other stuff. I'm not having to go fully charged, but it is a much broader topic. So we thought we'd expand on it in this one, and why are people buying bigger cars? Because we recently tested the Fiat, not the Fiat, the Abarth 500 electric.
And we've tested the Fiat 500e.
And, and it's like, finally we've got what we would call a traditional small hatch.
You get in it, don't you? You go, this is brilliant.
Yeah, it's what we used to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what we're used to.
But, I mean, this was something I said on the Fully Charged as well. The reason why manufacturers are giving us so many SUVs is because that's what people are buying.
Well, they're only designing and making cars that sell. Otherwise, there's no point. They wouldn't manufacture cars, would they?
You can't tell me that the Fiesta, the Ford Fiesta, the best-selling car in Europe for most of its life, probably, that is still selling lots of, but not as many. They've stopped selling that because people prefer the Puma or the equivalent.
They do, don't they? It's a larger and taller car. The Puma, I think, is a direct replacement for the Fiesta.
I think so.
And I don't know why people. It's the crossover, isn't it? Well, it's a confused area. It's almost like we've got a hatchback. I know what that does. Mm-hmm. They've got a crossover.
It's bigger and taller. It must be better.
What does that do? It's not 4-wheel drive. It's.
Well, the example we always use, and I used it Fully Charged again, was how many people would go for the Tesla Model Y over the 3?
Yeah.
And it's not because it's cheaper, it's more expensive.
It is,
it's
yeah.
less efficient.
It is.
So you can't get as big a range.
But it's bigger.
It's taller, it's got more... It hasn't got any more seats, certainly not in the UK. It's still a 5-seater for us, but it's got a much bigger boot.
Do you feel better about
Easier
yourself if you think of the bigger car? Like, oh, it's a bigger car.
Well, cars are often seen as status.
Status, yeah. The bigger the car.
So I guess if you turned up in, or if your neighbour saw you in a Puma as opposed to a Fiesta, it looks like you. I mean, you probably have spent more money. It's more expensive.
Yeah.
But if the monthlies, if the PCPs aren't too dissimilar,
then it's one of those, isn't it? It's
so I do believe there is a bit of manufacturers saying we can sell these at a bit of a premium.
Yeah.
But rightly so, it's a bigger car. But I bet they make more money on it, don't they? On each unit.
I should imagine so.
But SUVs would have never taken off had people not constantly bought them.
Is it? I mean,
so it's our fault.
Have we followed the Americans? Because the Americans have always liked a big car, haven't they?
Well,
over here we've generally gone for smaller cars. Look, throughout history.
Well, because of the streets.
The last 40 years so, since the 80s, cars have grown massively, haven't they? I remember sitting in the back of a Ford Escort in the 80s, and even a Polo and a Golf. And they were very small cars, weren't they? A Mini.
Yeah.
We had a Mini.
I grew up on Escorts.
Yeah.
And I bet it's the same size as a modern Fiesta.
I bet a modern Fiesta is bigger.
Yeah.
I bet it is.
But I guess maybe that's another thing you mentioned, the worldwide thing.
Well, I think
not making it for us anymore.
Well, the thing is, Ford at one point you had probably your UK market, your European market, and your American market, and now I think it was the Mark III Focus. That was a global car.
Yeah.
So. It's checking that's recording.
Yeah. I was just worrying for a second.
Yeah. So that's a global car, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they're having to
Americans.
and the Chinese more and more now. You know, the Chinese are smaller people, but like a bigger room in the back. Can I say that?
Statistically, it's probably the truth.
True. Yeah.
I think
and
that's
big grills.
If you were a company making a product, why make two? One for Europe, one for America, when you can just make it a bit bigger, and sell it everywhere. So there's an economic argument for it for them, but ultimately it's because we're buying them.
And I do wonder if with larger cars, especially that's sold in America coming to the UK, is how are they going to work? I know Cybertruck already is going to be a smaller European car, isn't it?
So yeah.
Because otherwise it's going to
look at the Ford Electric Lightning. Do you know the F-150?
Yeah. That's massive.
We saw. Was it fully charged? It was there.
It might have been there.
It was massive. Yeah. I mean, no, Goodwood maybe. It was way too big for these roads. It
was huge. I mean, way too big for the big roads. Let alone for little roads around here where you wouldn't be able to go. I mean, it would put you off, wouldn't it? We had the Genesis 70.
GV70.
And that going over the tops, which is over the hills around here.
The country roads, essentially.
I mean, that was...
Well, we had to pull right up. We had to stop, didn't we, if someone come the other way.
And you got looks. People like going, what on earth are they doing here?
It's the width as well, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, that was...
Felt like a big car.
In America, it would be not.
No, yeah, it would be, yeah.
Whereas over here, I think maybe it's a case of we're not really that important in car world. I think we're a tiny market, aren't we? Compared
we're not part of Europe either anymore. Well, we've got.
I think is it America's the biggest, then China, or maybe the other way around, and then Europe, mainland Europe, and then
and we're right-hand drive
probably
as
other
well.
Ones, and then there's us. Yeah. We're if you look at all your customers, if you had a business,
we're
20th.
Yeah.
You'd be like, well, I'm not going to do a Fiesta just for them.
No, it don't make any sense.
Although maybe Europe would have appreciated it, but
is
the footprint of a Puma any bigger? Is it wider and longer than a Fiesta?
I guess I bet the wheelbase is the same. I just wonder if it's slightly longer over that.
So you're not getting a bigger car, it's just a taller one.
I think has there always been this thing? Because Europeans tend to like a saloon over a hatch, don't they? The hatch is a very British thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, the Germans always like to saloon. Look at the 3 Series BMWs.
Yes.
Even like the Ibiza, Seat Ibiza of the early 90s.
Yeah.
Was it the Cordoba? Was it?
Yeah,
something like that.
Focus.
Yeah.
Ford Focus.
Saloon. Saloon. Yeah.
It looked awful.
It did, didn't it? It looked very American, that didn't it? It looked like a.
Yeah. And the Americans, I guess, like saloons as well. But either way, I would say that if the UK never went down the SUV, I like this route because it's bigger, therefore must be better, we wouldn't be having them. Well, it's not just UK, it's the world.
What we're saying was the first SUV for me.
Oh, God.
X5.
I don't know.
That was the thing that brought...
Is that a fake SUV? It's not a sports utility vehicle, is it?
The X5 was... I don't know, it was pretty quick for its time. It was I think it was a 3 litre diesel, probably about 250
But
brake.
it's a sports utility vehicle meant to be like for people doing sports, not a quick version. Like I would say one of the proper SUVs, early ones, were maybe what do they call it, the Toyota 4x4 thing.
Land Cruiser.
Yeah. Land Cruiser. You want to go surfing. You want to go up and down sand dunes. You want to you want to go anywhere. That's for me what an SUV originally.
Or a Defender. Let's get a Defender.
Yeah, I guess. But I always thought an SUV as less farmland-like.
Yeah.
So like basically a modern car that happens to be a Defender off-road.
And then from there, I mean, it's almost like its DNA just got lost in translation. And you got crossovers.
Yeah. Crossovers are used. I think SUV now has become synonymous with any big car.
Yeah.
People will look at even a Ford Puma and go, oh, it's an SUV.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah.
It's not even four-wheel drive. It's not this. So I guess if you looked at the definition of an SUV from 20 years ago,
it's very different.
Most cars wouldn't fit, would they?
Yeah.
So crossover is the phrase they invented.
Which is just anything can be a crossover.
A bigger version of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's modern. It's two genres.
Oh my God.
That could literally be any car.
Yeah, identifies as.
So, I mean, I do think there's still going to be the odd, like the Fiat 500, the small Italian hatch. Renault seem to be very good at making the small stuff.
They did Stellantis.
Yes.
The whole Stellantis group seems to be.
It's European manufactured, don't it?
Yeah, not obsessed with a massive vehicle. What else have we got in that? The MG4, I guess, but that's a bigger car than it looks.
Yes,
I will say that.
It's not an SUV though. I won't even call it a crossover.
No, but it's still I'm saying still a hatchy.
Yeah.
There's not many manufacturers doing that anymore.
But look at the MG range. ZS, SUV. HS, SUV.
Yeah.
MG5 estate.
That's
estate cars.
You don't see many. Well,
I love estate cars.
Yeah.
In fact, one of my favourite estate cars that I've never owned, granted, would be something like an RS6, RS4.
I do like them. I do like the new BMW M3.
Oh yeah, they do the M3 in that now, don't they?
Oh.
Did they do an M5 estate? Taurus, sorry.
They used to do. The V10 came as
a proper M5.
Yeah. The V10 engine in that. I think we found your next car.
V10. I wish. No, I think
but
we're all going to have something.
I think the thing is, for me, an estate has a purpose. It's like, right, I want a car and I want it to be a bit bigger. I've got a dog, I've got kids and stuff wants to go in the back. I want to put a roof rack on it. You get an estate. You get an SUV or a crossover, and it doesn't seem to give you any particular thing from any of the, like from
interior space is the same.
Yeah, but it's sometimes even less.
Yeah.
Because they've got like the couped roof.
Oh God, yeah. Shall we go on to that? Give me an SUV. So that's the Volkswagen ID4, sir.
Yep.
Brilliant. But you know what I want to do with my SUV? I want it to be less practical at the back.
So tell you what, why don't we make it look like a coupe?
An SUV that looks like a coupe, you say?
Yeah.
Oh, what would you call
that?
It's
like the future. The ID5.
The ID5. Would you charge me more for that, sir?
I'd charge you a hell of a lot more for that.
That I do not understand. Which is the X6 started that?
The X6, yeah. I mean, if you wanted to get a car that said tosser without actually saying tosser, don't tell me you're a tosser.
And ironically, they're probably really good cars.
You'd get an X5.
It's BMW. Oh, yeah.
No, you know what you do? You get a 5 Series estate.
Yeah.
You get an X5 if you wanted something with a bit of ground clearance. But I think for an X5...
Can't go off-road though, can it?
Well, they've got massive tyres, wide tyres. You're not going to get any grip off-road.
Chelsea tractor, I suppose.
It's a Chelsea tractor, yeah. So
the coupe SUV for me is... I don't get that.
Do you know what? It's confusing. I don't understand what it's trying to be.
Is it basically going, people like coupes and they like SUVs? I've got an idea. Just make a taller version.
Well, there seemed to be a point, didn't there, maybe 5 years ago, where Audi filled every number. You know? Yeah. We've got Qs now. Let's do a 1 to 7.
There's a Q2, isn't there?
Yeah. That
looks 7.
Looks like is it
What's
7?
A Q8.
It's Q8. That thing that's like a boat. But it's like, why wasn't there enough with just a 1, 3, and a 5?
Yeah.
Why have they got to put everything else in between? And it's the same with the BMWs. Why isn't there enough with an X1? Then you've got the X3.
X2.
It's X2 now.
It's 2 Series.
Oh yeah. The X5, the X4 as well. Which is a 3 Series coupe. That's.
Well, I know that they made the kind of coupe 3 Series into the 4 Series, didn't they? So they give it a different number, but it's just, they've always sold it.
They've got to be everything, isn't there? Is it just too much now?
Is it a tweak? Is it them basically going, all we have to do is tweak the assembly line?
And just we can build a taller one.
So we can build another model, so why not?
Yeah. What we'll do, we'll just adjust...
And charge more for it.
Adjust the spring rate.
Yeah. But I don't know, I was...
They must be selling these, otherwise they wouldn't make them.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think it was Johnny Smith posted something up, and Rory Reid said, I'll have to try and find it, but it basically said, who was buying estate versions before? So Johnny Smith liked it. He doesn't like SUVs.
Yeah,
God, it was Volvo announcing they are only selling SUVs.
We'll come on to it in a little bit.
So so you can't get Volvo estate anymore. And Rory basically retweeted and said, who was buying these anyway? So why are we reselling them?
People, people.
Yeah, and Johnny Smith, I thought they were going to have a bit of a spat, but basically said we need to have a chat about this on camera because is there a bit of snobbery there that anybody who buys a crossover or SUV isn't a car person?
Yeah,
you know
probably.
What I mean? Like us, Johnny Smith, probably Chris Harris. Oh, what the bloody hell have they? They've ruined it.
Well, for me, the whole crossover thing, it's like looks like a 4x4 is going to get stuck on mud. It's two-wheel drive. But I guess for 99% of people who are buying something, who've seen a Land Rover go past and go, oh, I like that, you sat up high, you're nice and safe. I get that, but it's like, oh, well, I'll get a two-wheel drive when it's cheaper. They're never going to need a four-wheel drive.
No.
I want that feeling. And, I mean, I think the thing as well is, are more women buying crossovers? Because it's a taller vehicle.
Wow.
Having been in a passenger in cars recently with women, I'm like, wow, you seem to get a lot more crap off people than you do as I would in the same car. People going, oh, the other way, peeping at you,
SUV.
going like that. It's very different. Am I losing it?
No, I'm just making sure that's not going to scrape against your top.
Oh, okay.
Well, you just have to put up with it. I'm not editing all that crap out that we just said, just to be on safe.
I'll try and be real still. So yeah,
it's scraping on your boot.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, Jordan.
Women want that taller car thing. It's
I don't know because
a bigger car makes them feel a bit more confident on the road.
On the stage there was that Jordan from My Energy, and she has a Model X.
She does.
Lorna, she said, "Oh, I bought that because I feel safer." Whereas Lorna, because afterwards she said, "I'm the opposite. I don't want a big car. I want a small car because I feel intimidated by driving around in a barge. I'm going to hit something or clip something."
But if you do hit something, at least you won't die.
So I get it. I mean, to be fair, it is nicer driving higher up, isn't it? Well, I don't mean fun driving, just driving.
You can see a lot further. I mean, you can see a car that's going to pull out from a lot further away, can't you?
Motorway, you can see ahead of things.
Yeah.
The ID bus.
Yeah.
Because it was quite tall.
Yeah.
He's not an SUV, but basically, you sat high up.
The van.
You do see a lot more. Yeah, any van.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I do like driving vans. So, is it just better?
Is it just better and we don't get it because we're going, it just seems a bit useless to me.
But it is worse on every measurable metric, like we say. More expensive, not really any more practical, less efficient, probably uglier.
But more desirable to majority of people.
Yeah, so it's a...
Are they buying into the lifestyle it thinks it brings them? Do they look at it and think...
It's a lifestyle choice.
I mean, the thing is, I don't look at a T-Roc and think that's a cool car.
I nearly took a drink then. But T-Roc convertible.
But some people are. That's aspirational to a lot.
Third best-selling car in Europe.
Wow.
The T-Roc.
And I was all for staying in Europe, but now I'm not too sure.
But I guess it's just a slightly taller Golf. And if it gives you a little bit more practicality...
How much more expensive is it than a Golf?
Don't know. Let's find out.
Because the thing is, if it's only £500,000 more expensive than a Golf, I'll be going, all right, I can see the point in that.
Yes. Right, Golf price. Let's see how Google is. Right, the Golf price. Oh, it's giving me the price of gold. I better put Volkswagen Golf.
Yeah. Volkswagen Gold?
But yeah, I mean, right, so wow, the cheapest Golf, it starts at £25,615.
Wow.
EVs are expensive.
Wow.
So 25.5, let's call it.
Yep.
Volkswagen T-Roc with ROC.
Did you feel dirty just typing that in?
Well, I didn't type convertible anyway. How much do you reckon?
28.
26. Almost dead. So it's about 500 quid more.
All right, then. Yeah, I can see the point then.
Yeah.
It does look like a lot. I mean, it's probably not that much bigger car, but it does look a bit.
It's probably not that much taller, but Well,
Right, well, that's it then. Cheers, fellas.
Well, for the price of what is probably a colour on a Golf,
You can get a T-Rock.
you could get a T-Rock instead.
Yeah.
And to be fair, this is something that I remember seeing when I saw a review on the Ford Focus and the Ford C-Max. Because
Oh, yeah.
the first, we changed Lorna's Corsa for a C-Max, a used one, just before Alice was born. And the one thing that they said in this review, I can't remember who did it. They said, right, here's a Ford Focus with a child seat. And he's like that. And he kind of he's bending down a bit and putting the seat in.
Yeah.
Here's a C-Max. The rear door opens that little much wider,
Yeah.
and the seat is at my height. I don't have to bend down with this heavy seat to lift it out. So it's just a few small changes, but it makes the purpose of this car for families just a little bit easier to live with.
And that's going to be a big thing.
And older people, I've had a lot of tweets from people saying, "Oh, it's easy for me to get in and out of,"
Which I can understand.
An SUV.
We were joking about that today, weren't we? Getting quite a low car.
Yeah.
Good, well, might as well enjoy this while we can.
Yeah. Oh, can't get out of here.
Yeah.
My mum would probably find a T-Rock easy to get into a Golf, for example.
Yeah.
And she's got a disabled badge, for example. So
are we saying?
is it more accessible?
I think probably, yeah. I think does it seem better value for most people? I think the thing is that
Probably. 'Cause it looks like a more expensive car.
it looks more expensive, and also you're buying a newer car. A Golf's been around forever. Is that so? People go, don't want a Golf, been around forever. Get a T-Rock, that's a new thing.
Yeah, and you might get like little cubby holes under the seat, sort of thing.
You're going to get a bit more. I think so.
Well, so it's more options.
We need to drive a T-Rock. There's bound to be some opportunity
Probably a
to do
Golf
that.
inside in it. Just like a Model Y to a Model 3.
Yeah,
it's the same car with a taller roof.
Yeah. But for me though, a T-Rock does seem to be everything that's wrong with the motoring industry. Or a Nissan Duke.
But it's our fault. Well, yeah, the Micra, the Ford Fiesta. How has that stopped getting sold?
Well, how much was the cheapest Fiesta? Was it about £20,000?
It's still sold now, isn't it? I don't think they've quite stopped it yet.
I think you can
maybe
more or
just.
less, yeah.
Ford Fiesta.
I think the last one's rolled off the line, hasn't it? There's bound to be some available still.
Yeah, so the list price for Ford Fiesta starting, just over £19,000.
Wow. And that's for a cheap car, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't even call that a family car.
No. Ford Puma is, how much did I say?
19.
So the Ford Puma, maybe we're wrong on this, it being a Fiesta alternative, 24,500.
It's got to be a Fiesta alternative.
So what's in the Ford lineup that's 19 grand now?
It's got the same. Is it the car?
I know the car's gone up in size, but I don't know.
We're just out of touch with anything that's.
You'd think we'd work in the industry, didn't you?
You would do, yeah.
It's not electric though, so that's
it's not. Yeah.
So the Ford
lineup.
lineup.
Go see the only electric car that Ford do.
Yeah, the Mustang Mach-E.
Look at the size of it.
Right, so they've got the Fiesta, the Focus, the Puma, the Cougar. The Mustang Mach-E. That's it.
That's all they've got.
It's all on the website.
Wow.
For the UK, anyway.
Until they get the Volkswagen.
Oh, the
Gubbins.
Explorer.
Yeah. Fedora.
I had a word with. He's called Jay Ward. I think he's the head of Europe in Ford. I had a few drinks with him and met him in LA when I was, in there with Ford and Bill Ford. But he was posting up about the Ford Explorer, saying Ford's second electric vehicle, and it's unique to Europe, is the Explorer.
Okay.
I'm saying, hang on a minute. Ford Mustang Mach-E electric car.
Yeah.
In the UK. Ford Explorer, an American car. The Explorer is American.
Yeah.
Unique to Europe. What is this obsession with calling all these cars, which are big SUVs with American names? Are they trying to get rid of the European sort of, the models so they can do worldwide stuff?
Well, they are,
But
aren't
they sold for the Fiesta in America, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
And did quite well, I believe. And certainly the Focus.
I mean, maybe it's costings. I mean, I suppose, from Ford's point of view, eventually they're going to have to stop selling the Fiesta and they have the Fiesta, yeah, but the Focus and all those sorts of cars because they're not EVs.
Well, they're stopping the Focus as well, aren't they?
Maybe their plan is just to go full electric using the new platform.
Well, yeah, because they're borrowing. Right, so the Ford Focus starts at 26 now.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, no. 27, according to that.
That's more expensive than a Golf.
Well, it said 26 to 27, so let's call it 26 to be safe. 26 grand.
That's more expensive, isn't it? Golf price.
So is the Puma closer to a Focus than the Fiesta? Is that what they're doing? They're kind of going in the middle and charging a slightly higher price. So statistically, they'll get more per unit.
Must be. There's some clever accounting involved.
I think so, yeah. But either way, who are we to say what someone likes? It is snobbery, isn't it?
It is snobbery, yeah.
Yeah, the person...
Still a crap car.
The person with a hatchback would probably... What do they think of the person with an estate? Or the person with an estate, what would they think of the person with the two-seater roadster or something like that?
Do you know what? I think if we get a chance, we may do relatively soon, to drive a T-Roc, or even a T-Roc convertible. I think we've got to do...
Duck egg blue.
Because I think sometimes it's nice just to go, do you know what? This is a benchmark, whether it's an EV or not. This is what everyone's buying. Therefore, everybody must like this. Fashions, everyone wearing platform shoes and flares in the 70s. And that's what people wanted. That's what people got.
Yeah. So if you were...
I'm just saying, I mean, vehicles where they've come from, I guess the crossover for me, going back to the hatchback and stuff, the people carrier was a massive thing, wasn't it? I remember that coming out.
Renault, was it?
Yeah.
Espace?
When, I can't remember, maybe I was late teens. And everybody got a people carrier then. It was essentially a van.
Zafira.
Yeah, a van with seats in the back.
Galaxy, the Sharon.
Yeah, hey Sharon. But you know what? I could see a point to that. You can get
7 seats.
7 seats, and you can get a boot as well with it. Yep. And that was practical. It did a job. But I still can't see where the crossover does a job.
Yeah, it's so you can go in. I mean, this is what the manufacturers always say. It's designed for the urban environment.
Urban exploring.
It can work everywhere. Okay. What couldn't? A Fiesta doesn't work everywhere, does it? I'm not talking off road. I'm on about anywhere with tarmac.
Sometimes taking it in the countryside, it just won't.
If I'd have had a crossover, I'd have been able to get over that speed bump.
Yeah, cattle grid.
So yeah, it's a purely lifestyle choice, I suppose. It's an iPhone.
It is.
Yeah, let's face it, you don't need an iPhone.
No.
Half the price would do. Yeah. Probably the same functions, to be fair.
Yeah. But you want that one.
But people go for an iPhone. People go for an expensive laptop over a standard laptop.
I guess, I mean...
Although that's a specification thing sometimes.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, celebrities tend to have big cars, don't they? They're either going for the 4x4s or they're going for the Lamborghinis or they're...
Well, I know somebody with, shall we say, an awful lot of money. I mean...
A lot of money.
Yeah, we're talking probably in 8 figures. But...
£80.
And I said, well, what would you drive? He's got a lot of cars, but what would you drive for, like, work stuff? Like from...
Business meetings.
Office to office. Yeah. And it was a Range Rover.
Yeah.
Says, well, look at it. Look at the inside of it. Look at how it rides.
Yeah.
It's the most comfortable thing in the world.
It's expected though.
It's expensive. Oh yeah, because he said, if I turned up in... Because I said, what about this, and this? He says, yeah, but if I'm turning up to a meeting and they say Rolls Royce, not a Rolls Royce, a Range Rover.
Yeah.
There's a, they'll look at you differently if you got out of a Mustang.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he must be doing well.
Professional.
So I want him.
It's a professional car.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's like chauffeuring, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're not going to pick somebody up if you're doing chauffeuring in a Focus.
No.
It could do it, but it's going to likely be an S-Class Mercedes, a 7 Series BMW.
So it's expectation.
Yeah.
Depending on its use. And I think that's also the SUV thing. People are expecting a higher end. Maybe they're entering the market a bit higher up.
Yeah.
I've gone from a Fiesta. I've got a Puma now.
Well,
look at it. It's big.
And I'm rising up.
Yeah. So it's a status symbol again. It's almost like if you're a company car. It's like you've sold a lot.
You've got a pecking order.
Yeah. Photocopier. You're a supervisor at the photocopier level of that. You're going to get a Puma instead of a Fiesta this year.
Rather than 318, you've got a 320.
I mean, that's something that doesn't happen now, isn't it? Would you like a 316, a 318, a 320, a 330, 325?
Yeah.
It was basically, I mean, the Ford Escort came in it depends on which year we're talking about. The 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, 1.8, 2 litre.
The 1.3 as well.
Yeah. But basically, there was like 4 different engines, weren't there? I mean, now it's not necessary because you can just remap them.
It's the same engine, isn't it, with a different map.
Which makes sense. But
you got a different engine for each one, didn't you?
Yeah. I always thought, because they were like, I remember once there were 1.4, 1.6 and 1.8, thinking, who's going for the 6?
Yeah.
You either go for the one that's the cheaper one,
or the more expensive 2 litre one.
Who's going for the 1.6? But
I'll just get the copper tin. Let's have a look. Oh, we've got nothing there for 1.6.
But yeah, I don't know. For me, we're not going to get away from the size of cars. I mean, we should also point out a lot of them are larger because of the safety equipment and the things that we demand.
Weigh a lot more, don't they? Now because of that.
Look at the seats now. They're heated, they're sometimes cooled, massage seats. They have to go somewhere. That's all weight.
Yeah.
They're bigger. They're probably more, as in wider for people because people are getting bigger.
Well, yeah.
So
you notice, don't you, getting an older car and just how close you sit to somebody?
Yeah.
You're almost brushing shoulders, aren't you, sometimes?
Oh, you change handbrake. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, oh, hello.
So I think they've had to make them wider to accommodate wider people, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And
people expecting more room. People, I think, if you get into a vehicle, and you do that, you get into a larger vehicle and you go, ooh.
Yeah.
It's all right, look at the leg room I've got here. Yeah, loads of space.
Nobody buys a smaller house or the same size house.
You're always...
Unless it gives you something unique, like the location.
Yeah.
You always go for a bigger house than you need, don't you? I only need 2 rooms, but I've got a 4-bedroom house. How many people would do that? And it's the same with the car. I don't need something that big, but if I can afford it,
I'm going to get it. Yeah.
So...
I could treat myself.
Yeah, so ultimately, it is our...
Undoing.
It is. The manufacturers probably do have something in there, don't get me wrong. But ultimately, if you hate SUVs, if you're one of those, like the whole fully charged thing, we need to get rid of these large cars and go for small.
Yeah.
The only thing that could realistically stop that is stop buying them. Yeah.
Stop buying them and start buying smaller cars. But I wonder,
no one will do that.
But saying that though, the MG4, is that recently, was it last month, was that the highest selling car in Europe?
It was certainly an electric car.
Yeah.
In June.
So, the highest electric car in June?
I don't know about old cars, probably not. But
so that means people still like the...
Well, it's a lot cheaper, isn't it?
That's why people are going for it then. I wonder if they did that though in an SUV, whether that'd sell more.
Well, the ZS is a bit more expensive.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a bigger car, isn't it? But I wonder if they did a 4...
An MG4 based SUV, yeah. I mean, the ZS is clearly a different chassis to the MG4.
Yeah.
So they're bound to break an SUV version of it at some point, I suppose.
I wonder if that'd sell more.
But is it I guess it depends if they do the same T-Rock trick. If it's another 500 quid,
people are going to go for it.
You're going to go for it.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
Well, yeah, you're getting a lot more car for your money.
Citroen EC4 versus EC4X. Now that's a saloon as opposed to an SUV.
Yeah.
But it's about a foot longer.
Yeah.
Same price.
Yeah.
And apart from the fact it's a saloon, which changes it a bit, well, you think, well, I'm getting more car. Yeah. A bigger boot. For the same money.
So why not?
Yeah, so I don't think people are ever going to do that. You're not going to go, you know what? I only need 16 gig of storage on my phone.
Yeah. Just give me a 4-inch screen. That's enough.
Yeah.
I can see what's going on.
How many people are buying 50, 60-inch TVs?
Oh, yeah.
It's because they're affordable and you can afford one,
so
not because you need
it. Getting it.
So essentially, it's down to people's
personal
choice, consumerism, whatever you want to call it. And that's the only way you're going to stop them. But I think everybody in their mind pictures the, I'm going to be slightly sexist here. And we did talk about it on stage, so it's not being too sexist.
No.
It's the single lady.
We do know women, don't we?
Yeah. I think Jordan talks about it. Ultimately, the woman in a big SUV outside of school.
Yeah.
Picking the kids up. And it could be a man, but you get my point. I'm trying to, it's the cliche, isn't it? Why on earth have you got that? In fact, that thing that's now been in the papers a few months ago, the was it a Discovery or something that
went through
killed somebody?
Yeah.
And now have you seen what's happened?
Lots of cars got the tyres
30 SUVs have got slashed because of a group that are trying to destroy the SUVs. In a dealer, I think.
Yeah, I don't really understand that at all. It's not like it's not the car's fault rather than the person's fault.
Well, yeah. There's a way of means. I mean,
any car could have potentially done that.
Well, yeah, it just probably will have done maybe less damage, I guess.
A small car hitting somebody, running them over, it's going to roughly, it's going to still cause some serious damage, isn't it?
But it would have still had a very bad effect. But so let's should we try and defend SUVs for a second?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I suppose you've got to think, haven't you?
Some people might want one.
Yeah.
For a reason, towing or something. I don't know.
Well, I guess if you tow in, you've got a reason to have one.
Security.
If you like sports utilities and vehicles,
is it a security thing? You always see a big. David Beckham drives a Range Rover probably because his security team think that's much more defensible.
I don't know. Well,
do you feel safer in that? I mean, it's clearly safer.
Going down the safer route though. I wonder if people buy them because you have this. If you're in a small car on the motorway and something big goes past you, you're like, oh my god, we're gonna
Renault Twizy.
Yeah.
You remember that?
If I'm gonna have a crash and I'm in the big car, I've got a better chance of coming off better out of that. So I'll buy the bigger car I wonder if there's a bit of that going on as well.
Yes, and you don't know why somebody's bought a big car just because there's only one person in it when you see them. For those that are just listening to this, you're gonna have to watch it to find out what we mean. But no, it's like there's the guy that used to live across the road from me, and he had a big
Car.
Toyota
Hilux, yeah.
double cab, big proper.
Called the Hilux Invincible. It's got some sort of name
It
like
was
that.
actually,
The
yeah.
Destroyer.
And it was new at the time.
The
so it was
road
very
wrecker.
expensive.
Yeah,
And it was the double cab with the big storage bit. I forgot what it's called.
Low, yeah. Pickup bit.
You saw him coming back from work every now and then in that by himself.
Yeah.
You know why he bought that?
Hopefully for his work.
He was a tree surgeon.
Yeah, so he could throw all the stuff in the back.
Yeah, and tow something very large and heavy.
Yeah, yeah.
But also use it for a family car.
As well
the
as-
double cab.
Yeah.
So people would see him down the road and probably, like a supercar person.
Yeah.
You get, oh, look at you
Can't
massive
believe
car.
he's got
It's like,
that.
No, I bought this because
it's a work
I have
vehicle.
to get to work in the middle of a forest sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
And
that will do it.
yeah, it will do everything.
And then get my family of 4 in the back as well.
And environmentally, he would be better doing that than buying a family car, like an electric one maybe, and then a towing car.
Financially as well.
Well, yeah, probably.
Cheaper doing
So
that.
I think sometimes people
Jump
they have a
on.
go at them, don't
Yeah.
they? So sometimes you don't know why someone's bought something.
And at the end of the day, I suppose people, they able to make their own choice, don't they? It's a lifestyle thing. I just want that. I like it more.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's probably more sense in buying an SUV than the Audi TT I've got in the garage with 2 seats and no roof.
Yeah, and a V6.
Yeah, but ultimately, what's more useful to the world?
Yeah.
One is a toy that nobody has a go at because it's small. One is actually used as a family car.
Yeah.
That people have a go at.
Yeah. I think maybe is it that the SUV drivers give SUVs a bad reputation.
Well, I think it's
There's a certain arrogance that comes with it. I often find that when you meet in the middle of the road and you've got right of way, they've seen you come in and they've gone, oh, I'm not going. I'm going to. You get a lot of that. It tends to be somebody in an SUV and they're going, go on, get out of my way. And you're going, well, actually, I'm going uphill and you came down. You've got a parking space just behind you.
Yeah. The cars are on your side of the road, not mine.
Yeah.
You're crossing onto my side.
I had one the other week, just near where I live. A lot of cars go up the road and they use it just to do a 3-point turn and come back down. And this woman in a giant SUV got stuck doing the 3-point turn and she's like, just go on the pavement to go around. I'm like, I'm not going on the pavement. You finished doing your manoeuvre. Oh, I'm not doing that. I can't. And she's like, I can't do it. I'm like, well, I'll reverse back a little bit.
I'd love to know whether she chose the car or her husband. Yeah, but again, we're not being sexist here, but if she has trouble doing a 3-point turn in that car, it clearly doesn't suit her.
Yeah.
It's like if I give Laura a massive car, she wouldn't. She would, no, I don't want one. It's too big. I don't feel comfortable driving that. So I wouldn't buy one for them.
No.
But maybe it's her husband's tree surgeon and she's just borrowing it. You never know, do you?
No, you never do. No.
But I think they get a lot of stick because they're usually the ones parked outside schools.
Yeah, or parked badly outside the co-op.
Badly outside schools.
Yeah.
on half of the pavement. Yeah. Or on the zigzags.
It's all right, got hazards on.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That's safe for kids then.
Yeah.
So no, I don't know what to think really. I mean, I wouldn't buy an SUV, but
unless you got a caravan.
Well, no, that will never. Yeah, there's one good thing about electric vehicles.
I've got instructions to shoot you on that.
And I give you them.
Yeah.
But no, I would never go out and buy an SUV. But if circumstances change, like I suddenly became a caravan or something, then I would.
Well, my neighbour went from a new Civic Type R, which he had that
beautiful.
For 2 or 3 years. He only did 6,000 miles on it. Not a massive user of the car.
Spotless, wasn't it?
Spotless, beautiful. I mean, it was like new when he.
And he got more.
He got more for that second than he did for new. Yeah, he paid for it.
Wow,
crazy. And he went for an X3 M, whatever one.
BMW X3.
Yeah, X3. Yeah. And
not a new one.
No, an old one. Not. You're looking at it. It's the M Sport one, not the M. But yeah, you're looking at that, and I'm going, oh, I don't really know. And I got in it, and I'm like, oh, it's quite nice in here actually. Panoramic roof and stuff like that.
Lots of toys.
And it's like, oh, it's brilliant. Now I can easily get the dog in the back. I'm not worried about putting the dog on the back seat and it's scratching the seats. It's in a little bit thing in the boot.
Because it's an older car, I'm guessing it's a lot cheaper than the Civic.
Massively cheaper, yeah. Yeah.
So he's bought an old SUV just because it's a good workhorse.
He gets a mountain bike on top as well.
And he does a lot of that.
Yeah, get a roof rack on there.
So it's a sports utility vehicle.
He's using that correctly.
So maybe that's what we've landed on.
People
buy what you like, but use it correctly.
Yeah. There should be rules about this, shouldn't there?
If you buy a Roadster, you have to have the roof down for 70% of the time you drive it.
Apart from when it's pissing it down. Any other time.
Which is all the time.
Yeah.
Even then, you got to do it sometime.
Well, I think today we've been out in your car for work, haven't we? In your TT Roadster. And literally, this has been the first day of sunshine I can remember this summer. It's been sunny all day.
The last time it was sunny, I was on holiday, of course. And
Easter.
That was probably 6-7 weeks ago.
Yeah, around Easter time. I'm pretty sure it was around just after Easter.
And because the car hasn't moved for nearly 2 months. Because every time I think, I might take it to work today, it's going to throw it down. What's the point?
It literally hasn't it?
So maybe it's the usage of it. That's the key, isn't it? Don't go and buy an Audi Q8
to do with shopping.
Just you driving it. Maybe that's the person we should be targeting in terms of why have you done this?
Or maybe like what we said when we drove the Abarth. That's a great runaround. Maybe you do need different cars for different jobs. Right, you're all going to have to get several cars.
Yep, it is. How many times have we've come to this
every
conclusion?
Time.
The older we get.
Yeah, you can't have one car that does everything.
In fact, I'll be doing a video about it shortly.
Yeah.
What's the point in a less than 100 mile range electric vehicle? Well, there's a second car in your household. Perfect.
As the run around.
Yeah, that gets the run around. It does your commuting, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then the other car does the long journeys, can be something special.
Yeah.
So effectively, 2 cars, which according to the statistics I've recently looked up on, handily enough, 35% of the UK households have more than one car in them.
33. I guessed 35 and got it wrong.
It was 35.
Was it 35?
Yeah.
Oh, was it? I'm feeling like
right now.
Yeah.
So I think that's quite telling. 35% of people do not need 2 cars.
No.
I mean, we could survive with 1. We have 2 because of her shift pattern and mine.
I have 2. 4.
One of them's for the channel, and one of them's in the garage all the time. It's an investment, damn it.
Well, you know what? You could. When I had my TT, I don't have it anymore. But when I had my TT, I bought it because I was talking to somebody at one of our workplaces, and he collected Fords, and they weren't special. Well, relatively special. Like a 2.8 Capri and something else. And I said, well, it was a Cortina. I said, all right. I said, well, if you spent all your money on your cars, what do you do for rainy day stuff? He says, liquidate the cars.
Sell the car.
I might as well. Because I've got an age now where insurance doesn't cost that much more, depending on what car you go for.
Yeah.
A little bit more at the moment, but that might be a different video. And if it's not being used, car tax isn't going to be that much higher for most stuff. So you could sit there and do nothing for maybe £50-60 a month. You could spend that on a small night out. It's not going to buy a meal, is it? That for a couple of you.
Well, we had a curry today.
No.
It was literally, I had a curry, I had one meal, you had one meal, some rice, some naan, and a portion chips.
Yeah.
£30.
Yeah.
Or for a couple of that a month,
that's a car.
Second car.
Yeah.
Excluding the buying. But yeah, I get what you're saying. If you've got 10 grand, not in your rainy day fund, but if you had 10 grand in savings that you could maybe touch into, why not make it sit on the driveway?
Try and convince her it's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, that's true, isn't it? If it's not going to, like the TT, I might not make any money, but I probably won't lose any either.
And if you do, you're going to lose a fraction, aren't you?
But I'm going to get a lot of enjoyment.
Yeah, and that's something, isn't it?
If you're a car person, it makes sense.
Memories. It's a hobby, isn't it? What do you do for fun? I've got cars. I do a car up. I like polishing cars. I like paint correction on cars.
Especially in a world where a lot of households now are better spending almost, if not 3 figures, on streaming services.
Well, yeah.
I have Sky Sports streaming.
It's 10 quid comes out every bloody day.
Now TV, because my mum watches it a lot down south, so effectively I buy it and we go halves.
Yeah.
So for all the sports channels on devices only, and you can use it on a smart TV, I guess, but I haven't got Sky in the house. Is £38 a month.
Wow.
Or maybe more, because I pay for. You can have like 6. You can have 6. Well, yes, Spotify is a 10. Yeah. YouTube Premium.
Yeah, 10 quid.
Yeah, at least a 10 or something like that, or whatever family one. Phone contracts.
Yeah, that's something else, isn't it?
For cars.
Yeah.
A lot of cars have a subscription now for premium subscription, which I don't mind paying if it's a data connection or something. But when you're thinking, hang on a minute, you're paying 80 quid a month for your iPhones in your house.
Well,
and you're moaning about how much, I don't know, petrol costs.
Cut back on what you're spending.
Yeah. So I don't think a car, by the time you've sold it, got whatever it's worth
It's
back,
going to have lost that much.
It's not that much. It's not spent that
You
expensive.
can. I mean,
Insurance
joking aside, you can maths it pretty good, can't you?
Yeah.
I mean,
Didn't you make money on your TT?
I made £1,000 on that in a year. Well, just over
My
a year.
Twizy. Bought it, 6 months later, sold it for £1,000 more. Even with costs and insurance, I made about 600 quid on that car by owning a Twizy.
That car cost me nothing I had it for 15 months maybe. So it cost me nothing. In terms of it, you know.
So you just enjoyed a TT?
I enjoyed the TT. It had a service, it had insurance, all that sort of stuff. You know, live in Bradford and insured it.
Yep.
Wow.
Wow.
Figure. So yeah, I broke even with that. But
you enjoyed it. It's like getting a free holiday sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. And at the moment, I've got a Fabia VRS SE, which I've done up, and I'm putting miles on that now, and not on the Focus, and that uses half the fuel. So I'm saving. It costs making money from that.
And that was a bargain price.
That was a bargain price.
So we're saying that the world should stop buying SUVs.
No, buy an SUV, but then buy a smaller car to go with it.
Or you don't need an SUV that's capable of doing everything. When you've got two cars.
Yeah. Yeah,
which is worse for the environment.
Get an estate and get a small car.
Yeah. And our Bath electric for a daily is perfect.
Is this our fantasy garage?
Oh God, no. Depends how much money you've got. But we said that, didn't we? Forgetting the expense for a second, it's too expensive for the majority of people to buy new.
Yeah.
But as a runabout, it's fun, it's small, it's perfect in town, more than quick enough. I guess the Fiat 500 would fit.
I was just about to say, get a 500e and save yourself even more money.
So you'd have that for everything, and then. But even then, sometimes I think people buy the second car purely for 2 or 3 journeys a year.
Yeah.
You'd be cheaper to rent one, wouldn't you, if you really looked into it?
I think you again. My neighbour, his wife's got a Mini Cooper Works.
Oh yeah, spec'd up to the 9.
It's got every button ticked. I think every box ticked. Sorry. And she drives that to the train station, which is probably 3 miles away, and back 3 times a week to go to work. I'm like, wow, just sell that and get taxi.
Well, yeah,
It's
I mean, that'd have been in the 30s.
Maybe even closer to 40s with all the boxes ticked.
I mean, it's beautiful.
Beautiful car, yeah.
And there's nothing wrong if you can afford it. I guess I can't argue with that. But like you say, that would be the perfect thing for a Renault Zoe that does less than 100 miles. Yeah, 80 odd miles. She would never have any worries because they can charge at home.
Yeah.
And if it's just going there and back again, and they've got the other car for the other things.
Yeah.
So that's the ultimate. That's basically the basis of the video I'm about to film.
Yeah.
Who's buying this? Well, here you go. I've got a perfect.
Well, it'd be perfect. Yeah. I think it's the cheaper, smaller electric car is perfect for doing for school run. That the kids get to a certain age and you do become the taxi service.
Oh God, yeah.
Can you pick me up from here? Can you drop me off there? Can you take me here?
And then when they get older and start getting a job, part-time job, you have to take them to work.
Take them to work, yeah.
Because I mean, how much is it for a taxi from your house to town, which is what, 2.5 miles?
2.5 miles.
So it's not 2.5 miles downhill.
I think it's £7.
£7 for 2.5 miles.
Yeah.
It's obscene. I mean, it's about right, I suppose.
But yeah, it's a lot.
£7.
Even bus journeys though. I think that's a five for 2 of us for me and my daughter on the bus to go to town.
A fiver.
Fiver, yeah.
Back again.
No, it's one way.
One way.
Yeah.
So how much does it return?
I don't know.
Because you don't do it.
No. But yeah, I've always got single there, single back. I don't know if you can get a return. Can you get a return on the bus? Does that how it works?
Yeah. Well, you can from here. But we're in North Yorkshire.
I try not to go on them.
Well, no, but that's the thing.
It's just I'd rather drive and go. Yeah, even the TT would have been more economical than getting the bus.
But if you price that up with something like the 4.5 gram Zoe I've got now, 10p.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's maintenance costs and so forth, but you get the point.
Not that much though in electric cars, is there really?
You can go where you want. You don't have to get dropped off at the bus station, and you can go back when you want. You can take more bags with you. You can take 4 people with you comfortably, 5 maybe.
So we're saying that
the world would be better if we got rid of public transport.
And everyone just got a Renault Zoe, an old one.
I wonder if a lot of people. I've had quite a few messages from people, including a couple that have said, In fact, did I show you? I wonder if I've got it on my thing here. It was a tweet I put up. Here we go. Would you like to read that out to the gentlemen and ladies?
So this is what? It's not what.
Now, when I said read it out, I meant that.
Make it up.
So it's on the video about the Zoe.
Dear darling, no. This is a £4,400 electric car. What's for battery like and blah blah blah.
So that's the video it's from.
This video has changed me from a complete naysayer to someone who has started to think about, that might work.
So, do you think more people are going to be looking at the cheap end of the EV market because of things like that?
Well, for me though, even if you're not into EVs, you can go, I can get a Zoe, I can get one that's 8 years old, and potentially not going to have to service it, because what's to go wrong with it? Yeah, if I keep that for 3 or 4 years, and just use that for 90% of my journeys, and then I'm going to get an M3.
Yeah. Or an MX-5, or
something
a TT,
like that.
or
a fun car. And that becomes your toy on the weekend.
Or the other car that you've already got, if you want to keep it, suddenly does 4,000 miles a year.
Yeah.
The maintenance and the cost and that. I mean, someone said, you've got tyres to pay on your Zoe. Well, no, because every mile I do in the Zoe is a mile I'm not putting on the other tyres on the other car.
Yeah. So my focus for a set of tyres is about between £200 and £250 per corner. On the Fabia, maybe £75 a corner, something like that. So it's like...
So there's other significant savings to be had in that. So I guess...
And if something knocks on the Fabia, it just knocks.
So do you think that... is that what ultimately, coming back round, I'll say crossover rather than SUV, is a crossover trying to be one car for everything?
I think it is. It's trying...
jack of all trades.
Yeah, master of none. It's a Swiss Army knife, isn't it? It's useful, but just give me a big knife sometimes, or a screwdriver.
In my mind, there's only one crossover SUV, whatever you want to call it, that has fit that bill, that has truly done everything, and even well received. And
I don't believe it. The T-Roc convertible.
They no longer sell it.
Oh, the Yeti.
Skoda Yeti.
You see, that's one I would buy. I would buy a Yeti, and I'd get the 4-wheel drive one, because you'd have to get a proper one.
Hell, even Clarkson, remember that video he did?
Yeah, Fire Brigade,
where he's like,
of it.
This is the best car in the world, I think he said. And lots of other people said
apart from the small boot, the boot's quite small, but I could live with that.
But compared to a big SUV, not compared to like a Golf.
Yeah. But I could live with that.
Even drove right, didn't it?
I did have one. I had one when a car... I had a...
Courtesy car, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a courtesy car, yeah. I had it for a couple of days. It was only 1.2 TSI, so it wasn't powerful. But wow, it drove well. Speed bumps, non-existent. It was a really nice car.
And you could get the 180 brake version, couldn't you?
You could get the 1.8... Yes, the 1.8 TSI you could get, and you could get the 2-litre TDI as well.
Map it to like
230. The people had 300 brake out of them by swapping around the turbo.
But that, for me, was a perfect example of a one car trying to do everything and actually getting it right. So is it a case of the rest are just concentrating more on the fashion
aesthetics
side?
I think it's fashion, isn't it? It's become a fashion statement.
But then we're getting... maybe the only ones that you could have a go at then are the truly big ones. The Q8s and the X7s, things like that. You know, there is no need.
Massive cars.
Because they're still 5-seaters.
Look at it, yeah, true.
So unless you are a chauffeur or something unique like that, there is no point to them. Or is,
But, is it... I mean, I think go back against the elevation, isn't it? It's the... look at a Bentayga, look at the Cullen.
Q8 to a Q5? Is he going to be any taller?
I don't know.
Or is it just a fit and finish? It's more Range Rover-like.
I think it's a bigger car though, isn't it? It does look like a bigger car.
Yeah. Probably wider too.
More Range Rover-like. It's like, it's got the Range
Rover. Yeah. If I had loads of money, a full electric Range Rover's coming eventually. The interior of them out there, barring Rolls-Royce types.
Yeah.
It's just stunning.
It's nice, isn't it? Yeah.
And you can get away with being that rich idiot in a Ranger.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit classless.
Well, you turn up in a Lamborghini and people are going to go...
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's partly why I said to the guy with the money. I said, you've got a Lambo, haven't you? Why do you go in that? He says, because if I turned up to a meeting in that...
Yeah.
I'm instantly on a downer.
Yeah.
Turn up to a Range Rover, a hybrid Range Rover, or something like that. Forget the environmental aspect. That's what people expect.
Yeah.
It's like when you go into a design studio, you want to see a row of Macs.
Yeah, you
not
don't.
Windows PCs.
Exactly.
Even though there's no real difference.
The difference, same software.
Yeah. So ultimately, have we come to any conclusions at all over how do we overcome the big car obsession, other than
people
replacing it with 2 cars?
Replacing it with 2 cars. Yeah, I think that's it. Or people, if again, if people are sick of big cars, then don't buy big cars. There still are small cars available. You know, Corsas, all them. You know, there's lots and lots of small cars available. Buy a small one and don't get dragged into this whole SUV thing. And the people out there who are going, "You're mad. I would get an SUV any day because I like being sat high up. I feel more safe.
Easier to get in and out of.
Yep, can park it outside the school anywhere."
And soon, certainly if you're going to a Ford dealership, you won't be able to buy anything but one. Volvo,
we'll touch on that, yeah.
Only selling SUVs as of either soon or next year or something like that.
Mental.
Only the XC range is going to be sold in the UK.
So the Volvo for me is an estate car. It was a practical family car. It was the whole thing of a Volvo, wasn't it?
There is one place that can still get the Volvo estate, so I
did hear you.
The emergency services. Because they have a bespoke sort of arrangement anyway.
I wonder if people be spotting them going, "Oh, wow, look at that one. You don't see them around anymore."
But that proves everything, doesn't it? If Volvo are going, there's no point doing these estates.
Yeah, well, it's a sad time, isn't it, really? I mean, it's sad for us, maybe.
Well, which would you go for? The Volvo C40 electric, which we tested and had that silly drivetrain really quick, or the XC40 electric?
Yeah.
Same spec. Go for the XC40 is probably more expensive, but not by massive.
Yeah, I go for the
XC40.
C40, yeah.
So we're basically...
Always bad. We're just hypocritical.
But that's the thing, innit? But so ultimately...
Going to sell my cars and get an X5. Diesel.
Should we be saying then, just stop having a go at big SUVs, unless it is unnecessarily big for UK roads?
Yeah.
There is a limit, isn't there?
Yeah.
But we're all doing the same thing, so why having a go at each other?
Yeah, well, I think people just like to feel better than somebody else sometimes, don't they?
Yeah, the only person that could probably be smug in terms of the car world is the cyclist.
Yeah.
I'm not clogging up the road.
Yeah. You are really, though, because you make it go slower.
And I don't cycle.
No.
But, yeah.
People will buy bigger cars because they want to feel safer. They need the room occasionally.
And actually, that's a good point. One thing that I was going to mention earlier. The footprint of a T-Roc is probably identical to a Golf. So the space it takes up on the road and in a parking space in the supermarket is the same. It's just taller. So ultimately, is that a problem if it is the same footprint? I
don't think it is, but I think, like I've said before, I think cars are just getting generally bigger in general. I think that's the bugbear people. You notice
there's a lot of safety in that, though, isn't there?
Yeah, but you notice now when you go to park a normal car now in some parking spaces, and it's like...
Look at garages, UK garages.
I can't get out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you drive it into most garages in the UK.
You can't get out. Yeah.
Because the garage in the parking space hasn't grown with the car.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole look at the original Mini next to the normal Mini. That had to happen for the modern stuff we need in cars, not just safety stuff.
So you didn't crash and die.
Yeah, exactly.
But you've got all the insulation.
Yeah, to make them quiet.
And also an expectation as well that you are going to be able to get 4 people into a car.
Yes.
Relatively comfortable.
Yeah.
Because people aren't going to go. People, I think it's progression, isn't it? People aren't going to go and buy something as small as a Mini and put all their the kids and the partner in and be cramped.
No.
I want to be comfortable.
Well, yeah. Like the house, innit? You don't buy a house that suits you. You buy a house that's as big as you can afford.
Yeah.
How much can we spend? I don't know. £300,000. Right. What can we get for 300 grand?
Yeah. And you start looking, don't you? And
you don't look at what's got 2 bedrooms because that's all I need.
Yeah. Oh, wow, I can get this amazing one. It's got 2 go. I can look at 4 bedrooms.
Yeah. So ultimately,
or you can get a partial ownership of a flat in London.
Yeah. Get the front entrance maybe.
Yeah.
So, well, there we go. So we haven't really solved anything other than 2 cars are a good idea apart from environmental.
It'd be interesting to know in the comments what people think of SUVs.
This is why we're using YouTube.
Or crossovers. I can understand an SUV. A crossover, still to me, is a mystery.
What's a Kia Niro? A car we both highly rate.
It's going to be a crossover, isn't it, I guess. So, but again, it's...
But its size isn't that much... It's about the same height as a Ford Focus, I think.
What defines for crossover?
2 genres. It's crossing over to different... so it's like a taller estate would be an estate slash... I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
An urban car. What is an urban car? Yeah. All cars drive in the urban...
Sports imaginings.
Well, Polestar 2. People never believed us, even though we read out what the PR press report, press release basically said that came with the Polestar 2 that we tested.
I nearly died of laughter.
I hope I get this right. It was a SUV with sports saloon imaginings.
Yep.
Nobody looks at the Polestar 2 and thinks of an SUV, but it is, according to Polestar.
Yep.
But you look at an XC40, which is the same car. Mm-hmm. Look at that, I mean, as an SUV.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it is perception.
Yeah,
from people.
It's got to be.
Look at him in an SUV, I'm going to burst his tyres. And the Polestar 2 guy just goes,
drives on through.
In a 2.5 ton Polestar 2. And we're not having got Polestar 2, so we're just making a point. So, yeah.
Other electric SUVs are available.
So there we go. We haven't really solved anything because it's not solvable.
No, but I think sometimes it's good to talk about it and realise that you go, well, yeah, there's still going to be lots on the road. Manufacturers are going to make more of them. People are going to buy more of them.
There's going to be points we made in this video, I think, that some people have been very anti-SUV. Have you slightly changed your mind now? And goes, oh, well, that's a good point. I didn't think of that. Or are you like, no, these
deserve to die.
But then, if someone said to me, we need to get rid of big SUVs, I was going, right, classify an SUV for me. What is included, what isn't?
Oh my God.
Is a Polestar 2 included? No. Well, it's the same as...
It weighs more than blah, blah, blah.
Well, yeah. Is it a weight thing? Is it a physical size on the footprint thing?
Is it a mixture of all these things?
Are you all right having a big SUV if it's got 7 seats?
Well, who knows?
And you need it?
Who knows?
Let us know, which is why ultimately we're using the YouTube platform.
So people can reply.
Yes. And I should point out that according to the statistics when I was doing the research on this, I think it was like 30% of people that listen to podcasts, the largest share of any platform is on YouTube.
Yeah. And that's why I've gone to a video as well.
Yeah, because YouTube don't work with just darkness.
No.
Hopefully this is recording.
It hopefully is.
Just using the cheapest camera I have to do it on.
And it's just flashing as a...
I did press record, didn't I?
Yeah. Otherwise you have got an audio.
If not, we've got a podcast. So, well, thank you for watching. Not watching. I'm not in the video, no. Thank you for listening, maybe watching. And to Driving Ohm the channel. If you're unfamiliar, this is the second channel to my main channel, which is in the description below, which is more car-based, I would say.
Yeah.
So if you like this, maybe have a look at that. And we will be back at an undetermined time from now with another one.
In the future.
We're going to try and do one every fortnight.
Yeah, we'll try.
As in upload, and just see what happens. But there are times where we'll do probably 2 or 3 in a week, and sometimes not one in a month.
Yeah, we'll just have to see, won't we?
So, right. Last word is...
It's going to be 2 Bombay potatoes.